Hello, friends. My name's Jacob. I'm joined today by my good friend and movie critic, Mikey Walsh, aka Movie Mike Reviews. And look, we're not going to beat around the bush here. We are doing our final Oscar predictions for 2025. The nominations are in a couple of days as of recording, so we'll try not to make this one too long for you. We're going to try and knock it all out in one video, and we're doing all 23 categories, including the short films. How you doing today, Mikey?
I'm doing well. I got a fresh new haircut just for this video because I wanted to look my best and be my best as I do what I do best, which is talk for far too long about the Oscars and end up saying things that I instantly regret come, Thursday night, Friday morning when the announcements drop. I'm very excited, very keen. I can't wait to chat about this with you. Let's go.
I was planning to get a haircut, and then I just couldn't be bothered when I got up today. So, look, there's no saving this, really. All right, so Best Picture. I don't think we need to discuss the top 8 for too long. I feel like we're going to have the same top 8 here. So I have Anora, Amelia Perez, The Brutalist, Conclave, Wicked, A Complete Unknown, The Substance, and Dune Part 2 as my top 8. And I will be shocked if any of those films don't make it in.
Genuinely, I think if one of them misses, it'll be a huge shock. It'll be a big surprise. I genuinely don't think the only one that could maybe miss, like maybe The Substance. It didn't get the BAFTA Best Picture nom. Like maybe it's not as strong as we think it is. But
that's the top 5 though. A lot of these movies didn't get the BAFTA.
Yeah, exactly. Like, at this stage, like I have no reason to think that The Substance won't get in. It's an above the line player. It's a below the line player. I genuinely don't think that any of these 8 are going to miss. But those final 2 slots, my goodness. Yeah.
Just before we move on from that top 8, if gun to your head, if you have to pick a winner right now, what are you picking? I know that's not what we're predicting in this video, but just out of curiosity. It's like, it's hard.
I'm going to say The Brutalist, but I think Amelia Perez might win the BAFTA.
Yeah, it might win a few things, yeah.
Like, I think Anora could win Critics' Choice, but then Wicked will win SAG Ensemble. So it really is anyone's game, which is exciting. I don't think that all this AI stuff recently about The Brutalist is actually going to impact it. I don't think that the intimacy coordinator stuff with Anora really derailed that film either. Nothing can derail Amelia Perez, despite the fact that it should have been derailed.
That's the one that should be getting derailed. Can everyone's PR teams just get together to try and take down Amelia Perez? Because at this point, if we're talking personal picks, anything but that could. I'd take Wicked over Amelia Perez, and I don't even like it.
I'd happily take Wicked. Wicked is great. But no, I think that at this point, it's really going to depend on what actually ends up winning some of these Best Picture categories. Because so far, Amelia Perez and The Brutalist, they're the only 2 that have actually won. They both won at the Golden Globes. And so we will see what comes from that.
I'm still defaulting to Anora, but I think for that to win, it would need to win something outside of screenplay. Like it would need to maybe snag editing or come back an actress or something. But beyond that, that top 8 feels pretty solid. So 9 and 10, I have 4 movies that are genuine shots for it, with maybe challenges as a real outside shot.
Yep.
So what do you have at 9?
At 9, I have got Nickel Boys.
Okay, see, I don't have that in, so we're differing already. So, I've got A Real Pain in that spot, which could be your 10th, which is, I know, a lot of people's 9 and 10.
What did you say, sorry?
A Real Pain.
I don't have A Real Pain in.
Interesting. Okay, Nickel Boys, what's your case for it?
My case for Nickel Boys solely is that it's got the Globe nom, it's got the Critics' Choice nom. There's not a huge amount of overlap with Academy voters, but I think it's been seen enough by people, and it seems to be Amazon's bigger push. Like, they're not pushing challenges as much. They're pushing Nickel Boys. It's done quite well from what I can tell from the Academy screenings. I think it's, it got that screenplay nomination. I think it's around enough. It got the Spotlight nom at the ASC, American Society of Cinematographers. So I just think that it's around. But again, I would not be shocked at all to see Nickel Boys miss, or my 10 miss, or A Real Pain. Yeah, it's crazy. So
And it is smart to not go for like the exact PGA 10. It happened
Yeah.
last year, but usually they go like 8 out of 10. So I think most people are sort of going with a mixture. So I have plucked a real pain from that PGA 10 just because it's one I've had out for a little while, but I think it coming back in PGA does make it feel a little stronger for me, at least, than the likes of Sing Sing and Nickel Boys.
Yeah.
And it's got those guaranteed screenplay and supporting actor nominations, and a win in the case of supporting actor, most likely. So I do feel good about if it hadn't got PGA, I probably wouldn't have it in. But I think that was enough for me to just bring it back up above a couple other movies, because it's got enough slots to be like a women talking type final best picture slot.
Nickel Boys, A Real Pain, and September 5 all have the Golden Globe. But then Nickel Boys has Critics' Choice, A Real Pain and September 5 have Producers Guild, and then Challengers has the Golden Globe and Sing Sing has the Critics' Choice. So between those 5 films, you've got 3 films that have 2 previous noms, you've got 2 that are on a solo nom. Like, I know that people are really doubting Sing Sing, but I think it's firm in picture. It's firm in actor. It's firm in adapted screenplay. I think it's firm in, hopefully, in supporting actor. We'll see what happens.
I don't think it's firm, but I do have him in.
That BAFTA nom certainly helped it.
And that's why Sing Sing's my number 10. I'm clinging on to it for Best Picture, slightly over Nickel Boys, just because I think it has a slightly higher nomination ceiling.
You guys haven't seen Nickel Boys, have you?
No, I'd like to. I'm waiting for it to hit digital somewhere, because it's not going to get a cinema release in Australia. It's like the one thing here I haven't seen. And I'm still here, which I'm seeing pretty soon. Not that I think that's getting into Best Picture, but it's on the long list. But yeah, Sing Sing I have in at 10th, and again, partly wishfully, because it's my favorite of this whole crop. But I think it just has a slightly higher nomination package than Nickel Boys, which is what's Nickel Boys. I mean, on its best day, could get a lot. It could get director and cinematography, maybe a supporting actress, but like it just doesn't seem likely. It hasn't been getting the support there from the guilds. Neither has Sing Sing really, but the BAFTAs seem to quite like it, to the point where had it been on more shortlists, maybe it would have gotten more nominations at the BAFTAs. Probably not quite picture, but you know, maybe it pops up in like an editing or a score or something like that. The Oscars, I've only got it capping at those like 4 nominations, but I think that's enough for me to keep it in, even though A24 have kind of left it behind. But you know, that's what I've gone with. So I've gone with the PGA 9, and then Sing Sing is that other indie film that hopefully the Oscars revive.
Like Sing Sing, well, last year we had Past Lives, and Past Lives, you know, missed actress, missed like a bunch of, like, it was only screenplay and picture, and it just got in. And I think Sing Sing has a stronger package than what Past Lives going into nomination morning has.
It's not guaranteed to get all those things, but I'm predicting it for those things, so it makes sense for me to predict it. I'm sort of just going all in with it.
Yeah.
So your 10th is, all right, is your 10 September 5?
No, so my 10 is Sing Sing.
Oh, okay, so we align. Okay.
Yeah. So my 9 is Nickel Boys. My 10 is Sing Sing. My 11 is A Real Pain.
Yep.
My 12 is September 5, and my 13 is Challenges.
Yeah, so I have Nickel Boys 11. Yeah, I mean, beyond that, like, I've got Nosferatu just because that should get a lot of tech noms, but lad, it's not.
If that ends up pulling a Nightmare Alley, that'd be crazy. If it gets that is a cinematography, production design, costume design, makeup, and then.
Yeah, but I think if you're watching this at home looking for your predictions, I think your best bet's picking something from that top 12 that either of us have. You know, you could listen to Mikey on Nickel Boys or me on A Real Pain. I think all of them would be great nominations.
Have you seen September 5?
No, I have to wait until it comes out in Australia. But, that's the other one.
I really like September 5. I would, if it gets nominated, I'm happy with that. I just don't want it to get in over Nickel Boys or Sing Sing, which is really hard.
Because those are really important movies, and those are movies that live and die on awards recognition.
I've got them rated high. Like I've got September 5 like pretty high in my like top 25 for last year, but it's not in my top 10. Like, but we'll see. Again, September 5 is kind of thing of like it would only be getting. It's only other nominations that it's likely to get are editing and original screenplay. Maybe it gets them. Maybe it doesn't. Nah.
Yeah. See, I can. Yeah, feels like it could be a textbook lone screenplay thing, but it scares me in editing. Also, it does. But yeah, don't predict anything outside. Maybe Challenges if you're feeling a bit frisky and like, because I do think Challenges isn't going to be goose egg, but picture I'm not quite ballsy enough to predict it. And I don't think we have to mention. You can read our list, but I don't think there's many other films worth talking about here.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to Best Director. Now, I've been trying to play it cute all season with this, but now I'm kind of just defaulting to the 5 that everyone else has because there's just too much evidence in favor of it.
Yeah.
Brady Corbet and Sean Baker, Jacques Audiard, they all feel like locks. Carly Fagiat, I'm very, very confident still gets in. Do you still have her?
Yep.
So she didn't get DGA. So I've basically got the DGA 5 and swapping out Fagiat for James Mangold. So I've got Berger at 5th, who I haven't been believing in all year, but like he's just gotten in everywhere.
I still don't have Berger in.
Okay, who you got?
And this is my like no guts, no glory, right?
Yeah. And I love it because I wanted to do the same thing. I've had Berger out all year, but now I'm like getting cowardly and putting him in.
Berger didn't get in for All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah, but that movie broke so late.
I know.
Maybe the love for it even grew after the nominations happened, and now they know who he is more. Yeah, I guess.
Like they know who he is, so maybe maybe they rectify it and like they do it, and like it'd be a worthy nomination. The film is incredibly directed. But I just have this feeling that the director's branch of the Oscars tends to do something a little bit more out of pocket.
Yeah, but are they going to think that Audiard is their European?
No, I don't think. I think Fagiat is that.
Yeah, but Fagiat's an actual good European.
Last year we had both Jonathan Glazer and Justine Triet.
Yep.
And I'm thinking that in the Glazer space of someone who's done something that's like a little bit more creative and up and comer, like the Academy does know who they are. I've got Ramel Ross in for Nickel Boys.
See, look, I've had him in all year. I just finally took him out because he just hasn't gotten in at any of the Guild or Industry Awards. But
he got into the Critics' Choice.
Yes, he did. Okay. Yeah, but they nominated everybody.
Choice. They nominated 8 people.
Yeah, like so.
But I've got Ramel Ross getting in. This feels very much like Ben Zeitlin getting in for Beast of the Southern Wild, or Lenny Abrahamson getting in for Room.
Thomas Vinterberg. They do one every year. So I love it. I do love it.
Vinterberg at least had BAFTA, whereas like Abrahamson and Zeitlin came from like nowhere and then got in. And I just think that Ramel Ross, he's previously been nominated for his documentary, so he is an Academy Award nominee. And I just think that I'm hope dicting, and I just want it to happen. But I've got Berger at 7th, actually, because I've got Payal Kapadia at 6th.
See, I've kind of given up on that one. I've still got her on the list, but it just seems like the film getting nothing at the BAFTAs just makes me think that outside of like a very small niche jury, not that the Globes are like a tiny voting body, but they are vastly different to all these they're different industry groups.
I mean, Kapadia, like All We Imagine Was Light at least was able to get the BAFTA nom for international film, but of course isn't able to be selected at the Oscars because of their, stupid rules. The other thing is that the BAFTAs got rid of their juries. And so I think Kapadia would have gotten in at the BAFTAs if they'd had the juries. They've gotten rid of the juries, so maybe that means she doesn't get in. But yeah, I've kind of got Kapadia and Berger and Ross. So Ross is 5th, Kapadia's 6th, Berger's 7th. And then I've got Villeneuve at 8th.
I've got Villeneuve 6th. I actually think he's an outside shot. Him and Ramel Ross.
I had him in all year, and I was very much on there's no way they're going to snub him again. How could they not? And then, he didn't get the Globe nom. He didn't get the DGA nom. And I was like, oh. But he got the BAFTA nom, and I was like, oh. But they also nominated him for Blade Runner 2049 when, no one else
did. Yeah, the BAFTAs like him. No, it is still a good sign that he got that. And the film not getting screenplay there really felt like they were trying to recognize him specifically in director. So I won't be shocked if his name's
he's my personal winner for last year.
I would love for him to get in. I honestly, I have him above all of these names, even The Brutalist and Honora would I love. I would rather see Villeneuve get nominated than anyone here, but I'm not quite have the guy again. They could just not go for Berger, but I'm playing the safe 5 here. But there's a lot of things that could happen. James Mangold wouldn't shock me, but it would kind of suck.
I've got Mangold at 9 again. When he got the DGA nom, I was not unsurprised, but also kind of does that mean we have to entertain this idea again?
No, he's the Joseph Kosinski in Top Gun Maverick. It's
very much the Joseph Kosinski. And I like A Complete Unknown, but I don't think that it should be getting as much love as it's getting. It's not even the best music biopic of last year because that's better, man.
Agree. It's one of my least favorite films in the conversation, to be honest. I thought it was okay. It's handsomely made, but not very interesting.
Yeah.
So it would be kind of disappointing to see this get in for director, but I don't think it will. Beyond that, you got your other foreign options. You got Mohamed Rasulov. A lot of people will still be crying out about John M.
Yeah.
Chu, but
Well, I
let's
was
put
going to
that
say
one to bed.
John M. Chu's who I've got at 10 because he's the only
Yeah.
other director that's gotten anything. He got a Critics' Choice nom. And yeah, I had Russellov in my top 5 pretty much all year, and I took him out after the BAFTA long lists. When he didn't make the long list, I was like, that was the one place that I expected him to show up, and when he didn't, I was like, this is not going to happen, and I don't have it in for screenplay anymore. I don't have it in for director. I've still got it in for international feature, but I think that's it. And at this point, again, I for a while was hope-dicting that it was going to beat Emilia Perez, but I just don't think that's going to happen.
No, it would have been. My friend earlier was trying to say I'm Still Here is going to win the foreign language Oscar, and I'm like, do you follow this stuff at all? Come on, come on. It'd be nice, but like there aren't as many Brazilians in the Academy as there are in the foreign press, and even it couldn't even win there. But I think that's it for director. Let's move on to best actress. This is another one of those categories where I have a pretty solid 4, and then the 5th is like, who the hell knows? I'm seeing a lot of people predict Cynthia Erivo to miss. I'm not quite going to do that. Are you?
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
I get it. I get it. The maybe comparisons to Margot Robbie and Barbie.
Yeah.
But I feel like this movie is kind of bigger than Barbie in terms of Oscars, like to the point where this movie's not entirely dead for a Best Picture win, whereas Barbie was at this point.
And there's every year, there is someone who gets all 4 precursors and misses. And I just don't want to pick who that's going to be.
No, because I mean, although the top 3, I really can't see it being. So if it is anyone, it probably is her. But
it's not always an actress. Like it's in one of the 4 acting categories. So like in 2018, it was Timothée Chalamet for Beautiful Boy. Got all 4 precursors, missed the Oscar. Amy Adams for Arrival. Viola Davis for The Woman King. So it does happen in actress fairly frequently. Margot Robbie for Barbie. But yeah, I do think that Erivo is safe. But yeah, like my top 4 is Demi Moore, Mikey Madison, Carla Sofia Gascon, and then Cynthia Erivo.
Same here in that order. So the 5th spot, you got a few names floating around. You got Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. You got Marianne Jean-Baptiste for Hard Truths. You got Pamela Anderson for The Lost Showgirl. Those are the 3 I'm choosing between, I think. Look, I've given up on your horse, Angelina Jolie. I don't think she's going to happen.
That is probably one of the most humbling experiences that I've ever had as an Oscars prognosticator. I was so convinced that Jolie was going to like basically Renée Zellweger Judy this through. Like even if the film wasn't getting in anywhere else, she was going to keep getting in. And then she's only gotten the Golden Globe and the Critics' Choice, which are like 2 of the early awards. But yeah.
And if you're only getting 2, those are the 2 you don't want. You'd rather have SAG and BAFTA,
like,
I think.
Missing at SAG was huge because like SAG is Netflix associated these days. And
also not winning the Globe was bad because that was such a weak category.
Not winning the Globe, not getting in at BAFTA. I'm like, I don't think Angelina Jolie. I mean, maybe Jolie gets in, but I just doubt it. I've got Torres getting in.
So do I. Not based on a lot, but
she's the only person so far that has won a precursor apart from Demi Moore because she won the Globe.
We haven't had all the precursors, but still.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, but like at the moment, like in terms of we would have the Critics' Choice as well by now, but that got pushed because of the fires. And so this is the first Oscar nominations in a while that are happening after the Critics' Choice. Or so they're happening before the Critics' Choice Awards are happening. Torres getting in feels very similar to Penelope Cruz getting in for Parallel Mothers, but she got in from like no precursors. At least Torres has something.
And it's also, from those who've seen it, a very easy performance to feel passionate about. It's the type of performance that can get #1 votes, whereas the other 2 feel like great performances, but maybe it's not going to be as many people's favorite.
And Sony Pictures Classics are really good at getting these like lone like actress noms.
That's another reason I have her in over Jean-Baptiste, who have Bleecker Street, who aren't so good at getting their films in.
Yeah. And Pamela Anderson, like, yes, she got the Screen Actors Guild, which was huge, but is from roadside attractions, and as far as I'm aware, they haven't ever gotten anyone nominated for an award.
I still absolutely could buy her happening. Like, this 3 is pretty tight for me, especially with, like, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis now looking pretty serious.
It feels like if Anderson gets in, it's on JLC's coattails as opposed to the other way around.
Which is crazy. And I could easily see JLC getting in without Anderson, whereas I don't know if I see Anderson getting in without JLC. Yeah, it's a strange one. But I agree with you. I'm going with Torres.
And if Anderson gets in, it just bolsters, like, Demi Moore has had this whole career resurgence narrative, and then Anderson also gets to benefit from that. And all of the stuff that I was saying about Angelina Jolie earlier, you know, before the season really started, of like, oh, they want to reward this person who, like, hasn't gotten their due in a while, and da-da-da-da. It's like, okay, I guess Pamela Anderson's that person. I'm yet to see The Last Showgirl. I see it next week, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, haven't been able to see that yet, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing Torres and I'm Still Here. Have tickets booked for that a week from now. You've seen I'm Still Here, yeah?
No, not yet.
Okay, that's one of the last ones. And then beyond that, I mean, Kate Winslet Lee popped up somewhere, I think.
Well, she got the Golden Globe
drama,
and then she was on the BAFTA long list.
Yeah,
but didn't actually get into the BAFTA. Saoirse Ronan did get in for the BAFTA. And I don't think that's going to translate to the Oscars.
No, and I'm sorry, Baby Girl stands, but
Baby Girl's not going to happen. Night Bitch isn't going to happen. Room Next Door's not going to happen. Challenges isn't going to happen. So that's kind of all of your other nominees from the Globes or things.
It's really just that top 7 that I take seriously. All right, moving on to actor. It's another one where I think there's a locked in 4 and then like a bit of a battle for the 5th spot. Adrian Brody, I still think will win, and having now seen Complete Unknown, I would like him to win over Chalamet. I love Chalamet, but I just don't think he's quite on that level. You've been vocal about you preferring him in Dune, which honestly maybe same. He's phenomenal in both.
Yeah, he's great in both, but I just if Timothée Chalamet wins his first Oscar for playing Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown, that just feels a bit like anticlimactic.
And I also thought he was like kind of upstaged by Monica Barbaro in that movie, but we might talk about that.
It would be like if Leonardo DiCaprio had won his first Oscar for Blood Diamond. I'm like, great performance, but that's what he wins his first one for? Like,
even Revenant's not his best performance, but like you get it. It's a dude trying to win an Oscar. Which like Timmy's trying to win as well. He's getting himself out there on the press trail, and
he's the first person in like 30 years to be the musical act and the performer on SNL who's not actually a professional musician.
And there's been blind items about like rumors that Chalamet's PR team is trying to sabotage The Brutalist and things like that. So like, it's all happening. Everybody's trying to take each other down. But I still think they'll both be nominated either way. Ralph Fiennes feels very, very safe in there. And Coleman Domingo, as shaky as Sing Sing is, he's gotten in everywhere, even at SAG, where they did not give a fuck about the movie. So I think he's safe.
That's the one that surprised me.
They liked the movie though at BAFTA.
Well, that's the thing, but we didn't know that, like, because it missed a couple of different things on the long list, and we were like, is this going to get in? And so I had Domingo at 6. I had Macklin missing. I had it just get. I was expecting it to maybe only get screenplay, if that. And the fact that it got all 3, I was like, oh, okay.
I'm just going to say I predicted it to make all 3, I think. Actually, I might not have predicted Macklin, but I definitely predicted Coleman. But
Domingo's safe, Brody's safe, Fiennes is safe, Chalamet's safe.
Something happened at the BAFTAs that makes 5th spot very interesting, and that is Daniel Craig not getting in. I think if he had gotten in at BAFTA, we would all just be predicting him for the 5th spot. I still am, but it's with way less certainty because Sebastian Stan is sort of the other name that everybody thinks could happen. And I hope he happens. I haven't had the chance to see Queer yet, but Sebastian Stan, I would give the win over just about anyone here. I think he's incredible. But I'm still going with Craig based on 2 things, really. The fact that he got in at SAG for a movie like that is huge, despite the fact that he missed BAFTA. BAFTAs clearly love The Apprentice more than the Oscars are going to. Maybe they'll like it. I still think Jeremy Strong could get in. But there's the issue of vote splitting. The only 2 places Stan has gotten in so far were at Globe, where he had 2 separate categories, so no vote splitting, and at BAFTA, where he was only shortlisted for The Apprentice, so no vote splitting. Whereas here, there might be a contingent of people who want to reward him but don't want to give The Apprentice the light of day and vote for him for A Different Man. And I think Craig is going to have enough votes that if Stan splits even like 70-30, Craig might just get more and slide in. So I think Stan absolutely could happen, but I am backing in Craig here. Where are you sitting?
I'm sitting on Craig as well.
Yeah.
And that, it comes from the fact that the BAFTAs just didn't seem to like the film because it didn't get a screenplay long list. Like,
that was never
they also
anyway.
they also didn't go big on challenges, so it just seems like they were kind of lukewarm on Guadagnino this past year. Whereas, he got that SAG nom. The fact that he got the SAG nom over
I think people are seriously forgetting about
because
that.
SAG are very horror friendly, and so the fact that Hugh Grant missed SAG but Daniel Craig got in, I think, is interesting. In the battle of the British boys, Grant won over Craig, but I think that's just because they didn't like the film as much. You've got Stan with the vote splitting.
Queer's not really a Britishy sort of film anyway. No. I mean, neither's Heretic, but still. And also, I think SAG is big. That category often goes 5 for 5 with Best Actor, probably more than any other acting category.
The last time it didn't was when Adam Sandler got nominated at SAG for Hustle.
Man, I wish that happened. That would
that would have been nuts. But it's also interesting. Like I saw this recently somewhere, and it's just been sticking with me. Remember in 2020 when Lakeith Stanfield was being campaigned in lead actor, and then ended up with that surprise supporting actor nom, because the way the Oscars works is that they count all of the nominations for someone's performance, and whichever has the most noms, that's all they'll then put, or the other votes. So, like, if you have 10 people and 4 of them vote for lead and 6 of them vote for supporting, they'll then put 10 votes.
Are you saying supporting. We're moving Craig to supporting for queer?
I saw somewhere someone say, and I think it's a fascinating theory, that Jesse Eisenberg gets in because a lot of people might put him for supporting actor and put Culkin for lead, and if Eisenberg gets enough supporting noms in addition to any lead noms, that bolsters him and he gets in. I don't think it's going to happen, but I understand the math and I wanted to shout it out.
Yeah, the category feels too crowded for that, but it is a fun theory. No, let's put Drew Starkey in league and Daniel Craig supporting, and then Stan can get in. Hugh Grant's still on the list. I don't think he's going to happen. He probably needed to get SAG to really convince me of that. Stan for a Different Man could get a lot of votes, but I just think the splitting's going to hurt him. And then I don't really take anyone else seriously here. My next name's Jesse Eisenberg, who we have our fan theory, but if he's in lead, he's not getting in. Should we move on to supporting actress?
We should.
Which is maybe the craziest category. I have all right, if I really want to stretch, I have like 11 names I could genuinely see getting in, and I have like maybe 9 that feel like realistic enough chances to get in.
I've got 9 that are realistic.
And I don't feel safe about anyone beyond the top 2, which is rare that I feel like that at this point in the year. I think Ariana Grande and Zoe Saldana getting in. Take your pick who you think's going to win. It's probably going to be Saldana. Yep. But, I think those 2 are safe. And beyond that, I do not know, because everybody has kind of missed something, and a lot of names have been popping in and out of these categories. So who do you have at third?
At third, I've got Rossellini.
As do I. It feels like what the Oscars would do.
She got the Globe, Critics' Choice, got the BAFTA. Missed SAG, but
she's old, and the Oscars love that.
Yeah,
they love an old person with minimal screen time.
They're gonna love Conclave.
Yeah,
and deservedly so. And she's not just like old in the sense that like Judi Dench was old in Belfast, but Judi Dench also doesn't do a huge amount in Belfast. Rossellini's not in Conclave a lot, but she's memorable.
She has some of the most memorable scenes. Yeah,
when I watched Conclave, my audience clapped after her speech.
Same.
Like that response doesn't happen for a movie that's not a Marvel movie, and I think that shows you just how impactful she is. And I think that Rossellini getting in, and she's been campaigning, like she's been out there.
Also, it might be a bit late to coincide with voting, but it's a nice way to recognize David Lynch, as she's worked with him a lot.
Yeah. Exactly. So I've got Rossellini at third, and I'm fairly confident in that.
Yeah, that I feel all right about. And then honestly, the other ones, there are like 8 names I could switch around here. I am sticking with Felicity Jones, but I am not confident, because she has missed a lot of places, which is crazy to me because I look at that performance and I think, how is she not in the winning conversation? She's phenomenal in that
I've
film.
still got her in.
Yeah.
I've got her. She's also my number 4.
Yeah.
She's only got the Globe and BAFTA, but that's not a bad combo.
Yeah, and SAG didn't like The Brutalist, so it makes sense she didn't get in there. I guess they didn't really go for Guy Pearce either, which is nuts. But and also you do hear from some of these, like, anonymous Oscar ballots from some people saying they didn't finish The Brutalist, and like the second half is where she does the most of her work.
That's where she shows up.
I would like to give the Academy more credit than that and think if The Brutalist is as big a movie as we think it is, how can she not get in? She could easily not get in, but I'm willing to stick with her for now. I mean, I'm digging my
supporting
heels
actress is always strange. Like someone like Regina King missed like 3 major precursors and still won the Oscar. So I think that Felicity Jones missing, I'm not going to get too concerned.
Now, when I did all my research yesterday to finalize these predictions, this 5th best actress spot was what I spent the most time on, and I think I changed it out like 3 different times. There are 3 names that I could equally want to put in, and my number 5 in the end is someone who I haven't had predicted all year. And at the end of the day, I just landed on it. It's probably the person I least want to predict, but I've got Selena Gomez in there.
I've had Selena Gomez in my top 5.
I know. Do you still?
Yes.
All right. Look, I don't like it, but looking at the merits of everybody, and they all do have merits, I just think I'm backing Gomez because she's got a lot of precursors. She got SAG.
She got that BAFTA.
No, she didn't get
SAG.
She didn't get SAG. Never mind. Don't listen to me. Globe and BAFTA, and they're going to love Amelia Perez. It's going to top the nomination total even without her getting nominated.
She's also becoming more respected because of Only Murders in the Building. Like, she's got Emmy noms for that as well. So,
and the SAG, this might be a case of like actors not wanting to recognize this fucking musician as encroaching on their profession, whereas the broader Academy probably won't care about that.
She started as an actress on Disney Channel before she was a musician.
Is that right? I mean, we've got Ariana Grande in there. Come on. But at the end of the day, someone's got to get fucking double nominated, right?
I was about to say,
a movie's got to get a double nomination. It happens every year.
Like last year there was no double nominations and everyone lost their minds.
Yeah. Like, everyone was like, this is the best chance at one.
There were all those people being like, oh, is Matt Damon going to get a surprise nom for Oppenheimer? Because there's always a double nominee somewhere in supporting. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
It's not going to be Matt Damon for Oppenheimer. And it's not going to be something random in Barbie. Like, chill.
So, I really don't like it, but it feels like the most educated guess, but there's a lot of names here. I have 6, and not someone most people have lowered down, but someone I was really, really tempted to put in is Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown. I really think this could happen.
I've got her at 9th, but I really can see it happening as well.
Yeah, to the point where
A Complete Unknown is peaking at like the right time.
And that she got SAG. I know that's all she got, but that's still nothing to sneeze at. And I think they're going to love the film. I do kind of have it just outside in a lot of categories, but I also maybe am biased because I watched the film and thought she gave my favorite performance in it.
She's wonderful.
She was excellent. But so yeah, I think that could happen. I think Jamie Lee Curtis is absolutely to be taken seriously here as well.
I've got Jamie Lee Curtis at 6th.
Yeah, I've got her 7th.
Because
very
she has BAFTA and SAG, which are the 2 voting bodies that have the largest overlap with the Oscars.
Yep, and
the Afterglow nom is fairly common. Like, it's very, very common, and I just think that, and she's been campaigning as well. Like, she's been putting stuff up on her social media. Like, people like her, and I just think I'm like, oh, and again, the film seems to be peaking at the right time. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, I've got JLC at 6, kind of looking in.
Yeah, so I haven't seen it, but I do hear she is really great in it, like probably even better than the role that she won her Oscar for. I've heard people say it's a deserved nomination. So like, again, it'd be cool. It does feel like a little annoying, like fucking Jamie Lee Curtis, go away, like I love Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't know why I've made her into an awards villain. I just think her winning for that.
Yeah,
everything everywhere was kind of stupid. But
not kind of stupid. It was stupid. It was dumb and silly. But look, Anyway, I'd
rather her in than Selena Gomez. So let's not mince words there. But anyway, who you got 7th?
I got Polly.
Yeah. See, I was pretty convinced of this, but her missing SAG and BAFTA means I cannot, in good
exactly.
conscience,
She's got
predict
Globe
her.
and Critics' Choice, but that doesn't mean a lot at the end of the day. And
It would be cool, but yeah.
it would be very cool. And yeah, it really just depends on how much the Academy goes for the substance.
Yep. The next name I have here is Danielle Debweiler for the piano
Same.
lesson, just based off the SAG nom and based off how fucking good she is in that movie.
Yeah.
Like, she's really, really, really good.
SAG nom, Critics' Choice nom, but again, it would be a low nomination for the film, and they snubbed it for Till, and I just don't know if this
and with
is
SAG, you got the Netflix connection too. So like, you know, does that happen without it? I don't know. So yeah, she's still. I wouldn't call her dead, but I wouldn't say it's definitely on the less likely end of things. Ingenue Ellis Taylor in a similar boat, but probably even less likely. Elle Fanning for a complete unknown if they want to go that direction. I think she got the Critics' Choice nom, but it feels like. No, she didn't.
Fanning.
No,
the only thing Fanning has is the National Board of Review.
Oh, right. I knew she got fucking something.
But yeah, Ellis Taylor got Critics' Choice.
Right.
And would be cool to see get in. And again, like, we know that occasionally supporting actress, they will just throw someone random in there, like when Marina de Tavira got in for Roma.
Well, I have Fernanda Montenegro 12th as my Marina del Tavira type choice.
Yeah. But I think that like Ellis Taylor is the kind of like it's a good role, and if they've watched the film and they like the film, like I can see her getting in. She is a previous nominee. They know who she is. She couldn't get in for Origin last year, but maybe she gets in for Nickel Boys. But yeah, it's just really hard to see films like Nickel Boys and Sing Sing like fighting for noms when they should be like guaranteed top 5 because they are both incredible films.
Yeah, but this is the most competitive category, I think, to the point where we could go like 3 out of 5 on this.
Oh yeah.
Quite easily.
We could go 2 out of 5 because only Saldana and Grande have all 4 precursors.
Yep. We could be looking at those 2 and then like Barbara Curtis and Debweiler or something. That's a fun lineup. But I'll be annoyed if Felicity Jones doesn't make it in. All right, shall we move on to supporting actor?
Of course.
This one's a little less crowded, but still a bit up in the air. I still have Kieran Culkin up the top there. I have Yura Borisov number 2. Very confident in him. He has not missed anything despite not being a name. Edward Norton, I also feel like he is a lock at this stage. That's me just going off those 3 having all the guild noms.
Yep. I'm the same. I've got Norton at 2 and Borisov at 3. So like, interchangeable.
Guy Pearce, I have 4th. Look, you can make a case for him missing. I don't think he will. He only missed SAG. I know there's a lot of crossover there, but I'm again just going to put that down to them not really caring about the Brutalist. Yeah.
I just don't think they cared for the film. And even for those people that are like, I didn't finish the Brutalist, it's like, well, Guy Pearce is enough in it, like, is in the first half of it enough for you to nominate him. And if anyone is going to upset Culkin at the BAFTAs, it'll be Pearce.
Yeah, it's weird. It feels like Borisov and Norton are more likely to be nominated, but I absolutely do not see either of them winning, where Guy Pearce feels like he kind of could. But
yeah,
I think it's just going to be Culkin in the end. It's he's sort of surged above everybody.
Yeah.
Deservedly so. There's only one performance I like more than him in this category, and I have him 5th, Clarence Macklin. I'm clinging on to this one. I think this is a fight between him and Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice, and I think if I was predicting Seb Stan in actor, maybe I would be throwing Strong in this 5th spot too. So this is a case of me like sort of, in for a penny, in for a pound with Sing Sing. And again, I just rewatched it in the cinema the other day, so I'm high on the Macklin again.
I've got Macklin in at 5th.
Yep.
He got that back.
This is the most we've agreed in any of our predictions videos.
I know, man. I know, it's crazy. But yeah, I've got him in at 5th. It feels very much like that Paul Racy, like that Troy Kotzer.
Like, but for some reason, way less strong. Whereas, like, God, why isn't this guy winning, man?
But I do think that it will be like, so in terms of like The Apprentice, it's either brilliant that voting has ended just as Trump's term has started, and maybe people decided to finally check out the film, and so you get this big surge. But again, I just don't think that the Academy is going to go for it. I don't think they want to deal with that. I don't think they want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Whereas the BAFTAs are like removed from that. They can do whatever the heck they want and make fun of the Americans. And so I think I've got Strong at 6th. Because he got that SAG nom and BAFTA nom, and again, the overlap between SAG, BAFTA, Oscars is very strong. No pun intended.
Strong has gotten everything except Critics' Choice, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. So he
very
absolutely
good.
get out getting SAG as well, which is, you know, a mostly American-based
Although
guild.
that's also because like SAG loved Jeremy Strong for Succession.
Mm.
Like there's a strong overlap
And the
between
fact
if
they
you do
went for
well on
him and
TV
not
noms, you get movie noms.
Stan, it might
Yeah.
not be a show of support for the movie. So,
Although maybe there was vote splitting.
yeah, true, and that's
So
again
yeah,
why
like
I
it's
don't
hard
have
to
Stan
know
in.
if either way.
It's close. I think this could really go either way. But I'm backing in Macklin. I'm hope dicting a little bit here. Strong 6. Beyond that, I don't really take anybody seriously. Even like Jonathan Bailey got the SAG
Well,
nom,
that's the thing.
which
There are only 8 people that have gotten any of the 4 precursors.
Denzel got
And
Critics' Choice.
Denzel got Globe and Critics' Choice.
Yeah.
Which we know doesn't actually mean that much. And when you peak early, you don't necessarily maintain momentum. He missed BAFTA again. He's still never been nominated for a BAFTA.
Yeah, BAFTA doesn't matter when predicting Denzel. You can't take that into account. But even without that, he still hasn't got enough.
Jonathan Bailey getting in at SAG was like a surprise, but they loved that film, and it'll probably win ensemble. But he didn't make the long list for BAFTA, and so it's like, okay, like I'm not really taking that seriously. And then again, like, do we get a surprise Tucci nom for Conclave because they love Conclave?
And that is the thing they would do, but he hasn't really shown up anywhere.
He
So
got long listed at BAFTA, and that's it.
You can't predict. And BAFTA loved Conclave and still didn't nominate him.
Yeah, exactly. And the final one, like
With
rounding out my
slots.
top 10, is I've got Peter Sarsgaard for September 5.
My exact 10th.
Yeah, solely because he did all the roundtables, and if anyone's going to get an acting nom from the film, it's going to be him. And Sarsgaard, like, again, could be benefited from the fact that people don't quite know if he's lead or supporting, and so he just gets a bunch of votes in both categories, and whichever one he gets the most votes in, that's what he ends up getting a nom for.
And then the last name on my list is a pure Hail Mary double nomination is Mark Edelstein for Honora, just because he made the BAFTA long list. But
that would be nuts.
It'd be cool, but it's not going to happen. But it would be like a Lakeith Stanfield type situation.
Genuinely.
All right. So moving on to screenplay, we're done yapping about actors. The video will speed up from here. I hope. We'll see what happens.
Challenge accepted.
Original screenplay. I feel pretty confident about betting on this 5. I think Honora should win this. The Brutalist should be solidly in there. The Substance should be very solidly in there. A Real Pain should be very solidly in there. Once upon a time, I thought this could have maybe done an American Fiction and won, but I don't know if I'm quite as confident. And then 5th spot, I think it's just going to be September 5.
I have challenges.
Yep, and I love that. And I'm actually predicting challenges for more nominations than September 5, but I don't know. I'm just kind of feeling this one in screenplay.
I think if September 5 gets in, it would make a lot of sense. But yeah, like it's hard because like the BAFTAs, you had Kneecap get in. At the Writers Guild, like September 5 wasn't eligible, and Brutalist wasn't eligible, and so challenges Civil War and My Old Ass got in, and I don't think that Civil War and My Old Ass are going to get but challenges did get in, and so challenges and September 5 both got the Critics' Choice. So I really do think that it's challenges September 5 battling it out for the last spot, or maybe we get a surprise like Worst Person in the World style nomination for All We Imagine Is Light.
Yeah, I mean, I know we were early adopters of betting on Seed of the Sacred Fig here, but it doesn't seem likely now. I've seen some people still going for Mike Leigh's Hard Truths, which again, the Oscars do like him, but I mean, the fact that it didn't make the 10 at BAFTA, I can't quite bet on it over.
And
September 5 and challenges are in a really similar position for me in that I think that it's like battling for spots in categories like screenplay and editing and things like that. But I'm going September 5. It just feels like the kind of thing they would do, and it does feel closer to Best Picture to me than challenges, but I could easily see this being challenges, and I would like it to be challenges.
I would love it to be challenges.
Yeah. And then the only other movie I've got written down here is A Different Man, which again is like a me wishful dream scenario type thing. But
I have The Apprentice at 10 because it did get that BAFTA long list mention. But again, I'm not going to actually put that, like it's at 10 just to give it the mention. Kneecap got the BAFTA nom, but that was never going to translate. What I did find interesting is that, again, BAFTAs, there was only 5 in the screenplay categories that didn't go 6th. And I feel like the 6th at BAFTA probably would have been All We Imagine Is Light when you look at what else was long listed. And so that's why I'm kind of like, All We Imagine Is Light is definitely going to probably be stronger with the Academy than Kneecap was. And so that's why I think he could maybe slide in, but we'll have to see. But that top 4 is definitely solid. Nora, Brutalist, A Real Pain, Substance. Like, it should be very easy to go 4 out of 5 in this category.
So yeah, September 5 challenges, pick your poison, whatever you feel is more likely. There'll be other categories where I'm choosing challenges over this, so don't you worry.
Yeah.
But that's just the vibe I'm getting. Now, adapted screenplay, I kind of feel good about this 5.
Yeah.
I think Conclave's winning this. Emilia Perez, for some reason, will be locked in there. Don't know why, but it will. Complete Unknown feels good. I think last time we did this video, we had it like 8th or 9th or something, and that movie is just completely surged.
Yeah.
And the last 2 spots, I'm backing in Sing Sing and Nickel Boys. I think they're going to happen. They both got in at BAFTA, which I thought we could have easily been looking at a world where like neither got in or just one.
Yeah.
So I'm predicting Nickel Boys for that lone screenplay nomination. It feels like it's definitely something that can happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 8 films that have actually gotten precursors. And I've got Conclave, Sing Sing, Nickel Boys, Emilia Perez, and then Wicked. I've got Doom Part 2 and A Complete Unknown missing.
You've got Complete Unknown missing. That's interesting.
Again, I understand it. I get why it's here, but like the Academy just doesn't tend to nominate music biopics, even when they're adapted. Like original screenplay, adapted screenplay, they just don't tend to.
Did Bohemian Rhapsody get this nomination? No, interesting.
Nope. Music biopics haven't gotten this nom.
Well, neither do Broadway musicals, I guess. So Wicked, you've got Wicked.
No, although Wicked is somewhat different because it's an adapted musical, and it's based on a book. It was a book that they turned into a musical, and the book itself was then, of course, adapted from
another layer of adaptation.
And there's the additional layer of the fact that for Wicked the movie, they actually did add a lot more dialogue because they extended out Act 1 to being the length of a movie. So I would not be shocked, but yeah, I've got Wicked kind of sitting there at 5th, and I would be very surprised. Like, I would not be surprised at all to see it miss and see Doom Part 2 get in. But at this point, I've got Doom Part 2 missing. Unfortunately, Doom Part 2 might end up going the way of water in terms of it's a sequel, and so it kind of just doesn't recapture the like massive amounts of accolades that the first one got, despite the fact that a lot of people would say that the second's actually better than the first. But
it is better, but it's definitely going to miss a few things. I don't think it's going to miss everything. Like, I have a bit more faith in it than some people, but screenplay, I don't think there's a reason for it to happen. The first one got in, but that was a weaker year for the category too, I think. And, the BAFTA didn't do it despite nominating him for director. So
did
I just
BAFTA not do it? I could have sworn that
not
BAFTA
in screenplay. No, this one they didn't.
Because they went a Complete Unknown. That's right. Yeah.
Complete Unknown, getting in, lock it in. Wicked, I've been predicting all year. I've taken it out at the end just because I'm feeling a little better about Complete Unknown, and I've regained faith in Sing Sing Nickel Boys, but Wicked could happen. Beware, be afraid. Beyond that, I'm still here if you want to throw in a random foreign one, which they do sometimes.
Hitman got
Hitman is an option.
WGA. So,
everything else disqualified and stuff. Actually, there's more original West stuff wasn't eligible, but beyond that, there's not really much I'd take seriously here. But interesting. I'm curious to see where you have A Complete Unknown in some text, because I have it here, but I am predicting it for less text than I think a lot of people are.
Yeah.
We're actually onto cinematography next, so that's a good segue.
Great segue.
Because I know a lot of people are predicting it because it got that ASC, but like fucking everything got ASC.
Yeah, ASC was not helpful.
But let's get into this because this is a pretty tough one as well. I think if I'm not mistaken, are there 3 movies that got every precursor for this?
Let me check, because I've got
The Brutalist, Nosferatu, and I believe Conclave has gotten everything. I do have Conclave 4th, but I still feel like I have to bet on it.
Conclave, Doom Part 2, Nosferatu, Brutalist.
Yeah, so Doom Part 2's gotten everything as well. Yeah, and even if it hadn't, I would still be predicting it here. Yeah. I know they didn't go for Fraser for the Batman, but I think it would be insane if they didn't nominate this for. Do you have all those 4 in as well?
Yep.
And then the 5th spot's another sort of...
5th spot, I've got A Complete Unknown.
Oh, fucking... I have it like 9th, whereas I have it in screenplay over you. I know Feed Papa Michael is a name who gets in. Is that why you've got him?
That, and I just feel like the film has peaked at the right time. And I look at some of the other
enough for
contenders. No. Like, again, I've got it close for screenplay, but I just think that it just doesn't strike me as a screenplay movie. But like, neither did Top Gun Maverick, and that got in. So like, I don't know, man. Like, for original for adapted screenplay, I would not be shocked to see it get in. But I just think that Conclave, Amelia Perez, Nickel Boys, Sing Sing, like that's your top 4, and that 5th spot is either between Doom Part 2, Wicked, or A Complete Unknown.
I'm just busting your balls. I would not be shocked to see this get into cinematography as well. Again, because there's a lot of names here. You've got the entire ASC list and then a couple other options. The film I have in is Maria. And like I said for you, for the Feed and Pathmarkle thing, purely because of Ed Lockman. That's why I have it in.
Man got in for El Conde.
If you can get in for fucking El Conde, I know this film doesn't have the advantage of being black and white, which like Ed Lockman plus black and white, that's like a double Oscar stat guarantee. But I don't think there's anything here that is like that ticks every box. So you sort of just got to pick the one that works the best for you. Another one I feel that could absolutely happen on the black and white note is The Girl with the Needle.
So Girl with the Needle got the Spotlight nom from the ASC.
Which is like, we don't want to nominate you, but someone there wanted to shout it out.
Yeah. So I could see that happening. And if it gets in, it would be akin to how Never Look Away got in 2018 with like no precursors.
Or Cold War.
I think that the next, like after Maria, because I've got Maria at 6, the one that I should move this up. I don't know. Amelia Perez got BAFTA and British Society of Cinematographers, and
I have Amelia Perez 7th. It could happen on the strength of the movie, but the US guilds haven't gone for it at all in this category, so I'm willing to take it out for stuff that did.
Like, again, like Nickel Boys got that shout out, and so I've got Nickel Boys at 7. I've got Amelia Perez at 8. I've got Wicked at 9 and Girl with the Needle at 10.
Yeah, Wicked scares me. I'll be pretty annoyed if that gets in. And I think the Oscars branch should hopefully be discerning enough to not do it. So yeah, there's a lot of things you go for here. Go your black and white pick, go with the needle, go with your best picture thing with Amelia Perez.
Getting Critics' Choice, I'm like, fine. You guys nominated half a score. But
when they're fucking idiots. Like
but when Wicked got the American Society of Cinematographers number, I was like, but like Black Panther, they were discerning enough to not give that visual effect. So I'm really hoping that Wicked doesn't get... Like, again, I love Wicked, but yeah, that's not a film I'd nominate for cinematography.
No, I'd barely even call it cinematography, to be honest. So this is a fun one. I'm excited to see what gets in here. I would love to see like a Nickel Boys pop up or something. And that's
the thing. Like the cinematography branch, they do cool stuff like that.
Yeah. And again, here's one. On its best day, The Substance could pop up here. On its best day.
Yeah, that would be unprecedented because it has no precursors.
But people are making noise about it.
Yeah. Look, earlier in the year, people were making noise about Furiosa, and that,
and they were right to do that.
Yes, they were. And honestly, one of my favorite cinematography, one of my favorite short films this year is Joker Folie à Deux. Say what you will about the film's quality, but it looks incredible.
And look, that movie made a couple Oscar shortlists, so never say never. It's no.
It makes sound and makeup.
All right, let's move on. I have costume design next up here. Now, a lot of these craft categories, I'm sort of like, let's pick whatever movie's made every guild and then vibe it out for the other picks. Wicked probably wins this. Even though I wouldn't really nominate it because I don't think they're designing anything new. Conclave seems to be doing very well in this category, so I'm going to bet on that to get in. I'm going to bet on Nosferatu to get in here. The BAFTAs kind of made us realize, this is legit, and it's been doing really, really well with all the US guilds in categories like this. And now, do you have those three also?
So I've got... what did you say? You said Wicked...
Conclave,
Nosferatu. Yes. Yeah, I've got those.
Yeah. Gladiator 2, I think this would be one of its random nominations that it pops up for. I know a lot of people... It could get shut out completely. They might not give a shit. But it's getting precursors. And again, they did Napoleon in a couple random categories. Even though people don't seem to like this movie, I still think this is just like one that it'll pop up for.
Yeah. I've got Gladiator 2 at 7.
Yep, right, and you're right. Yeah, you're right.
It got Critics' Choice, and it got Period at the Costume Designers Guild, but I don't think it'll win Period because it's up against Nosferatu and Maria, and I think they're slightly stronger.
I don't think Maria's getting in here.
I don't think Maria's getting in here, but I think it's more likely to
Yeah.
win period at the CDG.
Because they didn't even go for like Spencer in costumes, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't have faith in them to make good choices in this category.
No.
What do you have in?
So I'm looking at my list, and I hadn't actually moved things around for a while, but I'm going on this gut feeling, and I could be proven completely wrong. I've got Doom Part 2 still.
Yep, I have that fifth.
I have Wicked, I have Doom Part 2, and then at 4 and 5, I've got Nosferatu and Conclave. And at 3, I haven't moved it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm going to keep it in. This is my No Guts, No Glory.
Is this Beetlejuice?
I got The Brutalist.
Oh,
I love their men in suits. They love those men in suits.
They do, but I don't know. Usually with men in suits, you'd at least maybe have some precursors to go off as, whereas this isn't really getting.
And that's the thing is that it hasn't gotten any. And I'm there being like, this. I just hadn't realized, but like it missed the CDG, it missed BAFTA, and I'm like, I should probably take this out, but I'm gonna keep it in. I'm just see what happens. Yeah. I might change things the next half hour. We'll see.
All right. Well, we'll see. Well, it'll be on screen. Mikey's going to send me his list, and I'll put it on screen here. But yeah, I've got Gladiator 2 here, and Doom Part 2 I've lost faith in, but I still do have it at 5th. Beetlejuice could happen here. It just feels like the type of random movie the Oscar guilds would recognize.
Well, Beetlejuice got CDG.
Yep.
And it got, but that's it. So
still. You know,
yeah, like the only films. So Maria got Critics' Choice and CDG, and Gladiator 2 got Critics' Choice and CDG, and then A Complete Unknown got BAFTA but missed Costume Designers Guild. Blitz got BAFTA but missed Costume Designers Guild.
Yeah, Blitz.
And then there's a bunch of films that got into the Costume Designers Guild across contemporary, period, and sci-fi fantasy that like Borderlands got nominated for sci-fi fantasy. That's not getting an Oscar.
Period is really what you want to be looking at here, mostly.
Although in period, it's Gladiator 2, Maria, Nosferatu, Saturday Night, and The Book of Clarence.
Saturday Night period is kind of funny, but I guess
you're not going to get Saturday Night, and The Book of Clarence. In contemporary, you've got Challengers, Conclave, Amelia Perez, The Fall Guy, and The Substance.
Conclave's contemporary, but like it has a period flavor to it because you're in old churches and things like that. Yeah.
Do we get The Substance in costumes? Do we get Amelia Perez in costumes? I mean, BAFTAs didn't go for Amelia Perez in costumes, but like, is that where the Oscars then does it overperform there? Like again,
if this gets like 14 Oscar nominations, I'm going to shoot myself live on camera. But yeah,
they're there.
Anyway, those are our predictions for costume design. In a Just World Furiosa gets this, but it won't.
It did get that sci-fi fantasy at the CDG.
No, it means nothing. All right, production design. I have next up again. Jot Wicked down. No brainer. Jot The Brutalist down. I do think it misses some text, but I think if it doesn't miss this, something's gone. If it doesn't get this, something's gone horribly wrong. Doom Part 2 should still be a lock and load here. Nosferatu, I'm very confident gets this. Again, performing very well with the American guilds. And then 5th, I've got Conclave, which
I've also got Conclave.
I do feel like we're running a bit of a risk just predicting the same movies for every category, but it really just does feel like that kind of year. There aren't a lot of big tech juggernauts that feel like lone tech juggernauts besides movies like Gladiator 2, which like they're not going to get in everywhere.
Conclave got Critics' Choice, BAFTA, Set Decorator Society, and Art Directors Guild. So it's got all 4 of the major precursors. It's the same. A lot of it's the same team actually that worked on All Quiet on the Western Front, and that was a huge tech player. And so I'm not actually surprised that Conclave is showing up in text when people might be like, "But why is this a tech movie?" It's like, well, because the people that worked on it have like done other stuff. So
no, Conclave's gonna be a juggernaut. I think it's getting 10 nominations.
Yeah, so I've got Conclave at 5th, and then I've got Gladiator 2 at 6th.
Yep, I got that 7th. I got A Complete Unknown at 6th. I have A Complete Unknown 6 in a lot of categories, so I have it for like 5 or 6 noms, but it could easily get like 8 or 9 if they decide they really, really love it.
I have A Complete Unknown at 8th, only because it didn't make Critics' Choice or BAFTA. It only made Set Decorators and Art Directors.
And then I don't have Amelia Perez a bit lower here because it hasn't been performing with the guilds. But like again, if they decide they just want to like jerk it off completely, it could pop up here. But I don't know
like
why.
Amelia Perez got Set Decorators and Art Directors, so it has shown up at those guilds. Furiosa showed up at these, and that'd be cool to see happen.
Why?
It won't. Beetlejuice could happen. Alien Romulus.
Yeah, look, people
but
are
I think,
going to
yeah.
try and predict that for stuff because it made shortlist, but I think that's just something that happens sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah,
all
it's
right.
a jingle jangle Christmas story.
Hell yeah. Okay, best film editing. I have next here. This is a tough one because I have no idea what's gonna win this, which is really
No.
interesting. It doesn't feel like there's a Dune won the first one won, and this would again be a deserved winner, and it absolutely could win. I think Nora could win this weirdly if it ends up like winning Best Picture. It could just end up kind of taking it.
Yeah.
Conclave, I think, will be a lock for this one too, both on the strength of it as Best Picture and the way it's just like a really propulsive, punchy, and entertaining narrative. And so where are you sitting with the top three here?
So I've got Dream Part 2, The Brutalist, and Anora. I know The Brutalist has missed
I have predicted
BAFTA
Brutalist to miss.
an ace, but it did get in. It got into Critics' Choice, which I know doesn't mean a lot, but I just think that, yeah, if Brutalist doesn't get nominated for editing, I just don't know if it can win picture.
I don't think it's winning picture anymore.
I know you don't think it's winning picture, but
it's in the conversation. But I just think they don't nominate 3-hour movies in editing.
They don't.
Like I think Once Upon a Hollywood missed this. The Irishman missed this. They don't.
1917 missed this, which is not.
I mean, that's not like a 3-hour movie, but
no.
Or they don't nominate one take movies for editing, but that's not what this is. But yeah,
Birdman didn't get nominated for this.
I mean, like missing precursors aside, I just think I've kind of felt all along that they tend not to go for the big long movies in editing because I guess they're like, oh, they should have edited it down more. I don't fucking know what the logic is. It's a really, really well edited movie, but I just think it's going to miss here in favor of something that's maybe a bigger Best Picture contender or that has the most editing. Do you have Amelia Perez getting in here?
I've got Amelia Perez at 5th.
Yep, I have it in.
It got BAFTA. It got Ace Eddie.
I think it's going to come along. The fact that it does feel like a top 2 in Best Picture as well definitely helps. And
I wouldn't be shocked to see it get sound either. And again, that editing sound combo was very strong.
Yes, it is. And then at 5th, this is maybe a little of a more no guts, no glory pick over The Brutalist, but this is where I have challenges popping up.
Yeah, I've got challenges at 6th.
Yep.
And if Brutalist does end up missing, then I'm expecting challenges to get in.
Yep. And God, it would be nice to get in. And my logic here, I guess, is just it being one of the most flashy edited movies of the year. You know, we don't have a racing movie, but we have tennis, sports, lots of quick cuts, lots of different kinds of shots. And again, I don't think it'll get
in a genuinely impressive way, as opposed to flashing in the look at all the editing we did. Bohemian Rhapsody,
not Bohemian Rhapsody flashy, no. And again, it's not a sound contender, but it is a contender in song and score. So I mean, I'm still going to make that connection with it being a film known for having strong audio elements too. September 5th could show up here too.
Yep.
Maybe it would be wise for me to predict it based on me having it in screenplay, but I just feel like challenges is more likely.
Only has Critics' Choice.
Yeah,
it didn't get the Ace Eddie. But that's because they went for Civil War and Furiosa in drama. Over films like Brutalist and September 5. So
because they, I guess, watch a lot more movies. Civil War's not that good, but it does have good editing. I've got Complete Unknown here just because it's a Best Picture thing.
A Complete Unknown
again, Bohemian Rhapsody.
But with that, A Complete Unknown has no precursors.
Exactly, so that's why
no Critics' Choice, no BAFTA, no Ace. So if it gets in, that just shows how much they love the movie.
Anything beyond this point would be a show of how much they love the movie, like The Substance or Wicked.
Substance, Wicked, Civil War.
Yep. And again,
Kneecap got the BAFTA nom, and wouldn't it be sick if that also got an Oscar nom?
That would be sick. I would co-sign it for sure. All right, let's move on.
Flashy editing in a music biopic. There's a good example of it.
All right, let's move on to Best Makeup and Hairstyling. The Substance is winning this. Lock it. Throw away the key. Nosferatu, I'm extremely confident will get this. The Academy love prosthetics. That's why I have a different man in also. Anything with prosthetics, you can usually just pop it straight in. How about you?
Yeah, I've got Substance at 1. I've got Nosferatu at 5. I've got a different man at 3.
Yep. What's your number 2?
Dune Part 2.
See, this is where I've predicted Dune for a miss.
It got the BAFTA.
Yep.
But it missed the Makeup Artists and Hairstylists Guild special effects category. but they nominated The Deliverance, and that didn't get shortlisted at the Oscars. And so I'm expecting Doom Part 2 to get in. But they blanked Doom Part 2 in all of their categories. I think that might just be like that sequelitis of, they were like, there wasn't anything that you did new or different. I'm like, that's a lie. Austin Butler had no eyebrows.
But again, it's not full of like prosthetics, or at least prosthetics that we haven't seen before. So I think
had no eyebrows. That is new.
You can just shave it.
Florence Pugh's hair was new because she's new in the film, and they wrote different words on Rebecca Ferguson's face in brown, ink. So
they don't care about that. They don't care about makeup. Which is another reason why earlier in the season I thought Wicked might miss, but I am predicting it to get in now, because it's gotten like every single precursor.
Yeah, I've got Wicked at 6.
Okay, interesting. And again, I think you can make a really good case for it missing. You could sort of align it with Barbie, and a lot of this comes more from hairstyling and things like that, which they tend not to give a shit about. But I'm willing to just ignore stats for this one, just because it is such a big movie and it's gotten all the precursors.
They did a lot of green, it's a lot of green on Cynthia Erivo, and she spent 4 hours in the chair. She's talked about that quite a bit in some things, and I think that was talked about in the Bake Off.
And it has been talked about a lot. So that's definitely that's why I have it in. So you have Wicked missing, I have Dune missing. Do we both have Beetlejuice in?
Yeah, I've got Beetlejuice at 4.
Yeah, I got that 5th. I think it's textbook what the Oscars will do.
Yeah. I think Beetlejuice on its best day could be what Napoleon was last year.
Like costumes, makeup.
Where it gets, costumes, makeup, production design.
Did Napoleon got makeup? No.
But it could. But is it the film that isn't a best picture player, but just gets some nice tech noms?
Yeah, I mean that could be Gladiator 2 popping up for a couple noms. Who knows?
Scott could go back to back. Napoleon, Gladiator 2.
But weirdly, people seem to like Gladiator less than Napoleon, even though it's definitely a way better movie.
I think Amelia Perez is very likely.
Absolutely,
I've got it at 7, but I think it. I would
has one scene was prosthetics, which is honestly probably enough for them. The Apprentice, you could make a case for if I had Stan an actor, maybe I would have this higher on the list.
Yeah.
But I just don't think they're going to give a shit. And then Maria, same. I just don't think anyone gives a shit about that movie.
No, Maria getting in would be very similar to how Judy got in. But again, if Maria gets in for makeup and not for actress, that would be very strange. And look, maybe they do it. Maybe Waltzing with Brando does get the nom.
Well, I was going to say, in a weaker year, I would probably predict that just based on it making the shortlist alone. But I think we have enough options here to not.
Yeah, we've got enough options. And again, there's some fairly decent snubs as well. I think films that people thought were going to get on the shortlist that didn't end up on the shortlist. And so the films that have made it, they're fairly solid.
All right, Mikey, let's get to our sound categories. For original score, this has been a tough one all year. It's been a real it's so over, we're so back type season for challenges. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to get in. I have it 4th. The Brutalist and Conclave, I think, might be the ones duking it out for the win here. I feel pretty confident about both of them. I feel confident about Amelia Perez getting in. Where do you stand on my top 4 there?
So your top 4 was
Brutalist, Conclave, Amelia Perez, and Challenges.
Yeah, that's my top 4.
Yeah, and then the 5th spot, look, I've been wanting to go against the Wild Robot all year, but nothing compels me enough to kick it out. So I just have that 5th. I think that's just, I feel pretty good about that 5.
Yeah, I've got it in. Yep. I would not be shocked to see it miss because, again, Alexander Desplat didn't get in for Pinocchio, and then Spider-Verse
get in. So yeah, they don't really give a shit about animated movies.
And Chris Bowers has never been nominated before as well, and that's something. But the fact that he got the BAFTA nom is also pretty big. But yeah,
that's the thing. It's getting precursors. People are doing it. So to the point where I'm not even confident it's going to win animated feature anymore, but I still think it has a really good shot getting this. And there's nothing here that it compels me enough to put in over it. If I were going to put something in over it, I think it would be Nosferatu.
Same. I've got Nosferatu at 6 because that BAFTA nom really came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it's very, very deserving. But I'm not just going to go out and predict it for the exact 5 things that it got at BAFTA just because it did. Something's got to give somewhere, and they do often, not always, but they do often like names in this category, and I think Bowers is more of a name than Robin Carolyn, and it's just got the precursors to back it up, whereas I think Nosferatu only got BAFTA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it only got BAFTA, but it did also get longlisted, so we know that it's eligible, and it depends on just how much they love the movie, because they might well just love the movie.
Oh, it would be so. I would hope it gets in over the Wild Robot. To be honest,
Yeah.
yeah. Wicked, if they really want to suck it off, could happen.
Wicked's my number 7.
Yeah,
And again, it's more of an adapted score. Like, it's got some new stuff in it, but if it gets in, I think a lot of people will be like, why is this in? And why is Hans Zimmer not in? And no.
and I guess you could bring up Blitz because it's Hans Zimmer if they want to do Hans Zimmer, but I think just then, like,
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't really. Nah, I'm done.
Yeah, the only other thing that maybe could happen is Alberto Iglesias for The Room Next Door, because
Just
they did
because
that for,
he's Alberto Iglesias, yeah.
and they did that for Parallel Mothers.
Although I thought that score was like not as good as Parallel Mothers anyway, but yeah, we'll see. All right, original song. This is the weakest this category has been in a long time, I think.
Yeah.
I don't really like any of these songs except one of them. So you got to have the two Amelia Perez songs in. They're just Bang Bang, Mi Camino, El Mal. El Mal will be winning. Then third, you have to have the Diane Warren slot, The Journey from the 688. That's going to happen.
Which, I've watched the 688 solely so that I could listen to this song, and it's another Diane Warren song. Like,
I watched probably on Spotify. You could have just listened to it without the movie.
Yeah, but I'm a completionist and I try and watch every movie that gets shortlisted.
Yeah.
Diane Warren, the documentary about her, Relentless, is a solid documentary, and it made me like her more and felt like she's less of a award season villain than someone to hate on.
I don't think she's a villain. I just think it's funny at this point.
It's the fact that, like, because her bangers, like her absolute hits, are incredible songs. And it does feel like she's now phoning in some of these songs, and they all sound a bit the same. And I'm like, that's why I get annoyed, because I'm like, I'm not annoyed that you're getting nominated. I'm annoyed that you're getting nominated for this. Like, you can do better than this, Diane Warren.
It's just a weird little award season anomaly that is just
the
a
journey,
fun little thing for pundits to get a guaranteed point every single year.
And the lyrics for The Journey are like the same two choruses with like a verse and a coda. Like, it's very weak in terms of what it actually is musically.
But it will get in.
Yeah. I've got Kiss the Sky at 4.
Yeah, and again, I don't think that's a good song either. So I think that's kind of a lame
that
nomination.
Song. I think it's well
like
used
the movie,
in the
but
film.
It's just like, I don't know. It's boring. It's not interesting.
It's well used in the film, and that's why.
I'll give you that. Yeah. I like the movie a lot. I really like the movie.
Yeah.
And I think it'll get in. I think it's gotten too much precursors to not put it in. For this last spot, I think there are 3 songs I have duking it out. I think Gold Derby still has the Sing Sing one in the top 5, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I've had that at 11.
Yeah, I love the song. I would nominate it, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Lovely song, but yeah, they like that. Yes, they went for This Is a Life, but that's because that had David Byrne attached to it. This doesn't have a huge name attached to it. They didn't go for the song in Past Lives, which was, I think, better than this song, and so yeah, I don't have. Yeah, I've got Sing Sing at 11.
I guess my comparison to This Is a Life in a song that's maybe a little bit more indie and weird and not traditional. And the one I have in at 5th is Compress Repress from Challenges.
Yep. And that's gotten both precursors. Like, it's got Golden Globe and Critics' Choice. And it's Reznor and Ross, and so they're known by people. And if it misses score, but it still gets song, that's a little bit like how John Batiste missed documentary for American Symphony, but still got song. Like, they still want to give them an award for the thing.
But I do still think it's getting score. And like the fact that I didn't expect it to do well. I didn't expect it to get these precursors, but it did. And I still think the Oscars could be snobby and ignore it, but I'm pretty happy to back this one in. I also think, and I'm seeing a lot of people put this at 5th, the Elton John song, Never Too Late, definitely could happen.
Yeah, I've got it at 9. Again, it didn't get any precursors. It's a good song, and Brandon Carlisle,
it's on the shortlist, and it's Elton John, and he's won the award recently. So
yeah, again, at number 6, I've got Harper and We'll Go West.
Yep, I got that 7. I think that could happen too, and I would like that to happen. I think it's better than all the songs except for Compress Repress. So
yeah, got the Critics' Choice. Doco songs, like, it's very, very common that Doco songs get in, and again, like, of all, like, Will and Harper could get the Doco nom. Like,
it could. I don't have it in, but it absolutely could happen.
Like, in a way that, like, other Docos previously haven't. Like, I think it's got
some stuff up its sleeve that those don't. It's not like a talking heads to camera thing. It has a narrative and a journey, and you've also, like, the way it lifts
Netflix
up
behind it.
A trans story.
It's their big push apart from Daughters.
Yeah, I mean, not that I think Netflix is always a guarantee, but
and it's a Sundance doco as well, which helps.
Yeah.
So
I mean, with songs, kind of weird. Like anything could really pop up, but
yeah.
I
Well,
mean, the
except for
kneecap
Forbidden
song would
Road
be really
and
cool.
Beautiful
Yeah.
That Way, which is weird because Beautiful That Way got Globe and Critics' Choice, and so you'd expect to get it, and then just didn't make the shortlist. Forbidden Road made the shortlist and then got disqualified, which is dumb. Um, I've got Beyond at 7 and Tell Me It's You at 8 because you can never count out the
Disney.
Disney songs. And
Yeah.
I've got Piece by Piece at 10 because again, Pharrell Williams, Happy got nominated and it's a fun song. And I could see it being a fun performance. And I genuinely think that half the time they vote based on what's going to not what's just a good song or who's associated, but what's going to be fun as a performance at the Oscars.
Oh,
Yeah.
we got to get Hopper and We'll Go West in there, man.
I mean, I want Sick in the Hand at the Oscars. That'd be incredible.
That would be so good to get kneecap performance. Like,
what
can
I
they
will
be
say,
cool?
though, is that
Can we just kick out the Amelia Perez ones?
Out of Oklahoma from Twisters has gotten a lot of the precursor like industry noms. I don't have them in front of me, but like the Association of like Film Music Awards or whatever it was. Like Out of Oklahoma has been popping up every now and again from Twisters, and I'm like, that'd be interesting. Who knows if that'll happen?
Again, this is a category where random shit can happen,
Yeah.
so we'll see. All right, best sound I have next. This feels like a clean cut 5 to me, just based on we have a short list of 10, and it's pretty easy to identify what's going to happen. A Complete Unknown and Amelia Perez missing the BAFTA is really interesting with how much they like those movies, but I still have both in.
I have both. No, I've got A Complete Unknown in. I have Amelia Perez at 6th, but
Yeah,
I'm probably going to bump it in. We'll see what happens.
If one misses, it is Amelia Perez. I have
Yeah.
that 5th, and because again, it's gotten basically nothing except for BAFTA, but I just think there's nothing compelling enough here to kick it out.
Amelia Perez missed the Cinema Audio Society.
Oh, wait, no, it didn't get BAFTA either. What am I talking about? No.
Yeah. Amelia Perez missed the Cinema Audio Society, and it missed the Motion Picture Sound Editors Awards, and it missed BAFTA. But I've got it at 6 because
it's a musical. It's top 2 in Best Picture, and
it made the shortlist. It made the Oscars shortlist for sound, and it could get into editing.
Exactly. So Doom Part 2 should win this, hopefully, if they have taste.
Yeah.
Wicked, guaranteed.
Doom Part 2, Wicked, and A Complete Unknown, I think are very, very solid. I'd be shocked to see them miss.
Agree. I've got Gladiator 2 in there as well for another one of its small package.
I have Gladiator 2 at 7.
Interesting. So we have 2 different ones. What do you got? You got Blitz in there?
I've got Alien, Romulus, and Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, you're one of these people who thinks Romulus is going to get into categories just because it made 2 shortlists.
No. I'm someone who thinks that Romulus is going to get in because it got double noms at the Motion Picture Sound Editors Awards.
Oh, that's a better reason.
And Deadpool and Wolverine got in at the Cinema Audio Society and the Motion Picture Sound Editors Awards.
I have them 7th and 8th. I think they could definitely happen.
And I think that given how well Romulus and Deadpool and Wolverine could do in visual effects, and given the fact that last year we had The Creator and Mission Impossible go 2 for 2 with visual effects and sound, some of my No Guts, No Glory, I'm putting Romulus and Deadpool and Wolverine in for sound and for visual effects.
Right, okay, see, I don't have them for visual effects. If I did, I would probably be more likely to predict this. I don't really believe in Blitz. Some people might. I'm not going to go fully.
The only thing that Blitz got was BAFTA,
exactly.
and that makes sense that BAFTA went for it.
So yeah, again, I'm in on Gladiator 2. I have it in like 3 categories. And Amelia Perez, I think, might just coast in on being a musical that's high in Best Picture, despite it not doing well at the Guilds.
And lots of shootouts. Like, people talking about the musical.
Guns! I mean, my favorite clip in that movie was that scene where they're like musically loading up guns. Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah, like that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, there's a lot of guns in that movie and explosions and things going wah, and people talking about vaginoplasties. So,
fuck, I hate that movie. Let's move on. Visual effects, I guess we're on to that.
Yeah.
So do
There's
you
a top
have
3 that's very clear?
Yes. So do you have Gladiator and Wicked out for Romulus and Deadpool?
This is correct.
Okay, so you're going off last year with Mission Impossible and stuff. I'm going traditional. I have Gladiator 2 and Wicked in here. Neither of which I think really deserve it that much.
Yeah. I mean, Wicked missed Visual Effects Society.
Yep.
And Gladiator 2 missed Visual Effects Society. They went for Mufasa and for Twisters. And then Civil
both
War
here as well.
Got longlisted at both BAFTA and then at the Oscars, and it got nominated to Visual Effects Society for supporting VFX. So everything that's on the Oscars visual effects shortlist has gotten a mention somewhere. So I would not be surprised to see any of them actually get in.
And they do like reach down in this category, you know, stuff like Ex Machina can win this category. So let's go on Civil War. You never know.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that
Dune and the 2 Monkey movies should be locked in.
Yeah, and again, it would not be a shock to see a third Monkey movie with Wicked get it, or fourth Monkey. Like, you know, Wicked's got monkeys, Gladiator 2's got monkeys.
Well, I do have 4 monkeys in my top 5. I have Gladiator 2 and Wicked in. Again, boring traditionalist picks. Mikey's gone for the New Age Mission Impossible Oscars, and I hope you're right. There would be better nominations. I didn't like Alien Romulus, but the visual effects are really, really strong.
Yeah, very strong.
And Deadpool, I do have 6 because they very often do pick a Marvel movie, like whatever the best one from the year was, and this by default is. So
it's weird, okay? They tend to go for a Marvel film, but they won't go for multiple. And so this year, it's the whole thing of like, well, there are no other Marvel movies that they can choose from, so are they going to go for Deadpool and Wolverine? The only other X-Men film to ever get a nomination is Days of Future Past. The other 2 Deadpool films didn't get nominated. There are plenty of Marvel films that haven't gotten nominated. None of the Ant-Man films got visual effects. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness didn't get in. Eternals didn't get in. The first 2 Spider-Man films didn't get in. But
they usually pick one from a year.
Yeah, but that's because there's always been multiple to choose from. This is the first year since 2008 that they've only had one film.
Yeah.
Which is, no, not 2009. Because, whenever Iron Man 2 was 2010.
A while ago, let's just say.
Like they've had 2 or 3 films every year except for this year. And
And I feel like Deadpool would actually deserve this. I think it has very good visual effects, like the stuff with the villain fingers in her face and shit.
It looks pretty, it looks a bit bland when they're in the wasteland, but everything to do with like the fingers and some of the circles, and you got a bunch of other stuff, and it's like, all right, I could see this getting in, and it did get. It didn't get into Visual Effects Society into the main category, but it did get into some of the supporting categories for like backgrounds and models and stuff.
Yeah,
so
I don't have it in, but I think it could happen. So yeah, that is what we have. Mikey's gonna. Usually, I feel like I like a hot take here, but I think on this episode, I've played it pretty safe for this Oscars.
Yeah.
Whereas,
and that might do you know better, and I might be here being like, no, I overthought things again.
All right. Now we have our other Best Picture categories. Animated feature. This feels like, I feel like we don't have to spend a lot of time on this. The Wild Robot, Flow, Inside Out 2, Wallace and Gromit, Memoir of a Snail. I think that's just it.
Yep.
Like sometimes there is a surprise, but we also never have this much of a locked in 5. I think if anything misses, it could be Memoir of a Snail because no one seems to give a shit about it. And I also don't think Mary and Max got nominated for this.
Mary and Max didn't get nominated.
Harvey Crumpet won though for the short film. So
I think Memoir of a Snail has been seen by things. It's gotten precursors. It got Golden Globes.
It's done enough. It only missed BAFTA, which just means it's 5th because they only do 4 movies.
4. Yeah.
Which is stupid that it's 5th because it should be fucking winning this award. But it would be very nice to see Flow win, and I hope it does, and I think it could.
Yeah. I think Flow is competitive. I think Flow could easily win BAFTA.
Flow could just win everything. Like it
done win Critics' Choice,
well.
and
it's a way better movie than The Wild Robot and Inside Out 2. So,
and we'll see if it gets into international.
It could. I don't have it in, but it could happen.
Yeah, I don't have it in, but it could, and that'd be So we will.
I'm not even going to dignify the rest of this list. I have a bunch of movies written down. You can see them on screen what they are, but I think it's just going to be this 5.
Yeah.
All right, documentary feature. Now, there's a lot this is always a hard category to predict, even with a short list. It really could be anything. But I've just ended up landing on the exact same 5 I had in October.
No Other Land, Black Box Diaries, Daughters, Sugarcane, Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat.
Correct. Not quite that order, but that's my 5. That's your 5?
That's my 5.
It just feels safest. You got a mixture of stuff that's hit the relevant precursors. Daughters feels like the thing that could miss, but I'm not quite willing to bet on that. If I'm not mistaken, I think Porcelain War is the only one that got PGA.
Yes.
I don't, but I'm still not quite gonna put it in. because I think
Porcelain War is the
PGA
only one that got
often
PGA.
goes AWOL with it.
Yeah, like Hollywood Gate got longlisted for IDA, but it didn't make their top 10. Queendom did make their top 10, and could be that kind of surprise film that gets in. The BB Files was longlisted for the BAFTA, but didn't end up getting the nomination, and that'd be very relevant at the moment. Union is like they're all solid documentaries. I don't think Dahomey gets in. It's just too small. It's too slight.
It's done very well, but it just doesn't feel like it's going to appeal to a big
where I thought it would,
body.
but yeah, it didn't get the BAFTA nom. Remarkable Life of Iberlen, great, but again, I feel like it's close. Like it got the Critics' Choice and it got the IDA, but it didn't get the Cinema Ride, didn't get the BAFTA. Will and Harper won the Critics' Choice, but that doesn't actually mean that much. But it did get the BAFTA. But they also
did go kind of normie with it. Like
they
went with
nominated
Superman
Wham last year.
Yeah. So they like the profile docs.
BAFTA tends to go for one or two of the profile docs. So yeah, I think that, and I'm not surprised that Sugarcane missed at BAFTA. I'm not surprised that Santa Coup d'etat missed at BAFTA. I think that this 5 feels too safe, and I'm expecting one of them to miss, but I can't be bothered to try and predict which one that's going to be, because it would really just be like, okay, sure.
Yeah, I don't think we're going 5 for 5 here, but it's not like, I could sit here and say, soundtrack will probably miss for Porcelain War, and then it might end up being Daughters misses for Will and Harper, and I get 3 out of 5. So let's just pick the 5, and we should at least get 4 of them. Yeah. But yeah, there are a lot of things that could happen here. I really hope Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat hangs on, because it's still my favorite documentary.
It is also my favorite documentary of the year. So
and No Other Land is a close second and will be a very good winner for the Oscar. All right, let's move on to international feature. Similarly with documentary, after lots of changing tides, I've just defaulted back to the same top 5 I had in October. And that is, actually, you can guess it again.
Amelia Perez?
Yep.
City of the Sacred Fig?
Yep.
I'm Still Here?
Yep.
Kneecap?
Yep.
Go with the Needle?
Yep.
Nice.
Where are you sitting here?
Well, that's my top 5.
Yep. All right. We agree on these 2 categories. And again, I did at one point take out Kneecap, for Vermilio, which felt like it was going to be a thing, but it doesn't feel as much like it's going to be a thing. Yeah, and Kneecap did very well at the BAFTAs, which it was always going to do, but the fact that it made the song shortlist, it's on people's radars. They're not opposed to nominating films in Irish language. The Quiet Girl happened a couple years ago when that didn't seem like a sure thing either. So I think Kneecap has enough going for it for me to bet on it over a lot of the other movies here.
I've got Vermilio at 7. I've got Flow at 6.
Same exact.
I would not be at all shocked for them to go for How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies in a very like Lunana, a yak in the classroom kind of vibe. But
so someone else read the Awards Watch article.
No. This is me.
They compared the 2 also.
I have parallel thought.
Oh, no, he just more confirmed that they're films with funny names.
Yeah.
That pop up randomly. I've seen Grandma Dies, though. It's
the
a
other
good
one
movie.
that some people have said like could pop up randomly is Waves from the Czech Republic, which apparently is very good. But I just don't think enough people have seen it. And
Armand's kind of gotten some stuff, but like
Armand got
that
debut
good,
director at DGA,
which is kind of crazy.
And it's but also that's a little bit of nepotism.
That's a confusing movie. Like it's I don't think it's going to appeal to a wide range of people. It didn't even appeal to me. I
liked it until I didn't.
Yeah. Again, there's a category where anything can happen. Maybe The Girl with the Needle is too austere and depressing for them, but like, God, a black and white war drama that's also like a potential cinematography nom. That's enough. Boy. That's enough for me. That's enough for me. And maybe I'm biased because it's almost my favorite international film of the year, but look, no one's going to be nominating The Beast, so we don't have to talk about that. It's a comforting 5. It brings me comfort looking at that list. And I think the top 3 is safe, and then 4 and 5 anything could happen, but I'm picking my faves, and it's worked out for me in the past, like picking Quiet Girl when a lot of people weren't. So I'm going to have faith in the Academy's taste on this occasion.
Yeah.
Now it's time for the short film categories, in which I don't really know what I'm talking about, but have landed on a 5 based
So have I.
Yep.
I've done a little bit of research, but that was like a month ago, and I haven't really changed things since. So
Okay, well,
let's see
I
how
did
we
my
go.
research yesterday.
Big.
I still don't have anything that like concrete to say. Basically, the way I look at these categories is I'll look at what other pundits say. I'll look at what Gold Derby says. I'll look at Letterboxd and look at which ones are maybe the most popular and have the most reviews, or think about what's like widely available on Netflix and things like that.
Yeah,
And then
like,
just
my big thing
randomly
is, like,
pick a mixture
who's
of everything.
distributing? Because if Netflix has a short, then that's very likely, especially or National Geographic, especially in documentary.
All right, I've animated short up first here. I have Me up the top. I know some people have it missing, but
I have Me at 7.
yeah, okay, so there you go. We're differing already. There's a category where anything on the shoulders can get in. What do you have number one?
I have A Band Named Wojciech.
Yep, most people have that number one. I have it in also number 4. A lot of people don't like it, but it feels like the type of like schmaltzy thing that people
a lot of people
yeah,
didn't
of course it'll get nominated.
What?
The cop one in
No,
live
the
action
one
a
that
few
won
years
last
ago.
year. War
the
is
animated
bad.
that one, didn't it? The fucking
It
War
won.
is over.
War is over.
So
yeah,
anything
War
like,
is,
and this is a similar like let's all be nice to
War
each
is
other.
bad. I'm surprised
movie.
it wasn't called War is Bad because
I mean,
yeah.
I think A Band Named Wojciech is also like a War is Bad movie. From what I haven't seen any of the shorts this year. Just for all right, 2 I have Wander to Wonder, which ticks a lot of boxes.
I have Wander to Wonder at 3rd,
Yep.
and that also got the BAFTA nom, and so there's a little bit of overlap there, and so that's got me a little bit more confident in it.
And second, you have
In the Shadow of the Cypress.
I have that 5th. I didn't initially have it in, but I think it just feels a bit more serious maybe than some of the other contenders, and it sounds really good. It actually sounds like one of the ones I would want to check out from here.
Yeah.
3rd, I have A Crab in the Pool.
I thought I got that at 10.
All right, and so what do you have rounding out the list?
I've got Maybe Elephants at 4.
Yep, I'm seeing some people go with that.
At 5.
Oh, yeah, Yuck. Okay, I took Yuck out for Shadow of the Cypress like a last minute, so I definitely feel like that could happen as well.
And I have Beautiful Men at 6.
Yeah, I have that 7. I think that's at number 1 on Gold Derby, actually.
So
I don't know. Just wasn't my vibe. That's all I have to say. This is a vibes based list. You look at Mikey's list, pick an amalgamation of them for your own predictions, and you might get 3 out of 5. We'll see. All right, let's go to documentary short. Up the top, I have Incident, which seems to be the best reviewed one if I'm looking at sources like Letterboxd, which is not how you should be predicting Oscars.
I've got that at 9.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I think it's definitely getting in. Even having it 1, I'm not saying it's definitely going to win. So both my number ones, Mikey does not think is getting in. You be the judge of how to use that information. What do you have number 1?
I've got Michaela's Voice, A Letter to the World.
Yep, I have it 4th, like A Bear Called Wojciech, because it looks like a movie that people don't like, but it'll probably get in and maybe win.
Yeah. I think it's Netflix or Disney or someone who's behind it. And whoever's behind it, I was like, okay, then I think. And
that's
it's
just like a schmaltzy story of like someone with autism, and apparently it's not a very good portrayal of these things. So definitely gonna get in. I have Once Upon a Time in Ukraine at number 2.
I've got Once Upon a Time in Ukraine at number 5.
Yep. Feels timely. And it feels God. The title alone is enough to kind of make me want to predict that one. To be honest.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Second, you have.
I've got The Only Girl in the Orchestra.
Okay, I have that 7th, but it's one that ticks a lot of boxes in terms of popularity and being well liked from people who have seen it. So definitely could see that happening as well. I have Death by Numbers at 3rd.
I have Death by Numbers at 7.
Yep. And then rounding out the list at 5th, I have Chasing Rue, an Aussie
I have
short.
Chasing Rue at 3.
Yep. All right. Do you know much about it? Because I just know it's about chasing Rues.
And the one that I've got rounding up my top 5, number 4 is I Am Ready, Warden.
Yeah, that one was a tough omission for me. I have it 6. It feels like it absolutely could happen too. Another one I feel like could happen is The Quilters. I've heard it get comparisons to Sing Sing. I don't quite have it in, but I wouldn't be shocked if it popped up.
One that I've got particularly low, but I could also see maybe just randomly getting in is Seat 31, Zoe Zafir.
Okay.
Because apparently it's quite funny. It's quite heartfelt. It's about a trans member of I think it was Tennessee or one of the southern states, and she got banned from going inside. And so she she was seat 33 for 31 for the district, and so she set up her office on like a park bench outside, and that's where she did all of her stuff.
That's great.
And so it sounds like a really interesting kind of film, and one that could be quite timely. But I just haven't seen a lot of people predicting it. I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it. Whereas the stuff that's in my top 5
does not matter in these categories.
No,
but I think we have like 3 in common in each of these, which feels like about the strike rate you want to go for. You just spread things out a bit. So for live action short, number 1, and I feel like most people have this number 1, is The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent.
I've got that number 4.
Oh, at least you have it in.
Yeah.
We've got one category where my number 1's on your list. An Orange from Jaffa, I have number 2. That feels quite likely. Okay, all right. But he's going off the beaten path. This is one where I kind of have just gone with the Gold Derby top 3. I have The Masterpiece in a 3rd. What's your top 3?
I got Anuja.
Yep, I have that in at 5th.
I've got Dovecote.
Yep, I don't have that in, but definitely could happen.
I've got Room Taken.
Yeah, that's very close omission for me also. And then
Man Who Could Not Remain Silent is 4. And then at 5, I've got Clodagh.
And then 5th I have 5th I have Anuja, and 4th I have Alien, which is quite low on Gold Derby, but I've seen a lot of people chattering about it. So I think we have 3 similar again on this one, so that's about right.
Yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure that's meant to be lean, as in
no, it's Alien,
but you do you, boo.
No, it's about like immigration, isn't it? Like illegal aliens, you know?
Is it?
I think it is.
Okay, I thought it was about like I thought it was French because Lien is like something in French.
Let me check this. Yeah, it's a short film reflecting the operations of U.S. immigration and customs enforcement. That's why I thought it was called Alien. I haven't seen the film. I can't say. You feel free to yell at us in the comments. But
I really enjoyed going and watching all of the shorts last year when they were in cinemas for a weekend. And I highly recommend that people go out and do that because Shorts TV normally puts them on, and it's great. And they usually include like 1 or 2 that were on the short list at the end as well, so you get to catch a couple of other just random shorts, which is always fun.
There's a theater in my city that usually screens them all when they happen, so I'm going to try and go to that if they do it again this year. Then I guess the other mention I have that I was really close to putting in is I'm Not a Robot, just because
I've got that at 7.
And I'd Room Taken at 7, which you've got in as well. So so take with that what you will. That's our Oscar predictions. That was we got it in about an hour and a half, which is great for us. Usually we go for a lot longer than that. As for nomination totals, I have Emilia Perez getting 12, Conclave getting 10, Brutalist getting 9, and I'm not going to go through the whole list, but those are my top contenders here. How many do you have Emilia Perez for? Are we the same?
I haven't counted up how many.
Okay. Wow, that feels like some shit you would do.
It does. That's very Mikey coded of you.
I feel like we were the same.
1,
Emilia Perez
2,
mostly.
3.
You don't have to sit there and count. I've got to end the video.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've got it in for 11.
I think you might have had it out of one of the texts that I had it in for, but it could easily get like 14 too if things go really badly. So that's it from us. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're still scrambling to make your Oscar predictions, I hope we helped you make up your mind a little bit. And thank you if you made it to the end of this video. Holy shit, because if you're not into this niche, I can imagine it was just unbearable to listen to. But if you are, we're spitting facts. Mikey, thanks again for joining me. Where can the people find you?
You can find me inside your walls. No, you can find me on Letterboxd at MovieMike113, and you can find me on Instagram at MovieMikeReviews, and you can find me here on Jacob's film YouTube channel talking about movies, and you can find me on his podcast, The Film Draft, where I consistently show up. I don't win, but I have a good time.
Thanks for plugging the podcast for me. There'll be a link to that in the description. That's where most of my creative energy goes nowadays. I'll probably try and do a reaction video for the Oscar nominations. It will require me to pull an all-nighter, I think, because I have to be up at 5 a.m. for work the next day. But I enjoy doing Oscar nominations. They're like, it's one of my favorite nights of the year always. It's really, really fun. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram. That's all in the description. And happy Oscars. Good luck.
Bye.